I'm a ritualistic person. You know, I look forward to things. There are certain times in the calendar where it's like I do a certain thing with my fiance. Like we go to Coachella a lot. Like so April, like we're gonna go out there, we're gonna spend some time in Palm Springs, or in the summer, it's just good to do things with our friends. And those little tent poles on the calendar are fantastic. And it's just nice to know that every March we can rely on the Jags to do this, where they're just gonna. I mean, it's just gifts going like this. It's amazing. We can get to whatever one of these you want to start with. I think we start with the Christian Kirk contract because it has definitely been the biggest talking point. The amount of athlete responses to this deal, AJ Brown tweeting out that gif, I think it was T.I. just nodding, Jalen Ramsey making jokes, he's got to become a receiver. That's when you know that things have moved the needle, and this deal absolutely did. I knew that the up to $84 million for the 4 years that Adam Schefter reported was probably doing some heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Even at 4 for $72, it's
not
still
crazy.
A crazy contract.
I bet you, in Arrested Development, when the dad's like, "Oh, I have the worst effing lawyers." I bet you Mike Williams is saying the same thing about his agent, going like, "I should have waited. I should have waited." That's exactly it. Oh my God. I liked Christian Kirk as like a nice, like, side piece for a good team. Like
that's what this is, though. That's what this is that you have opinions on players, and you have, I like this guy as,
yes.
There's always that caveat, and often in the first day of free agency, in the early part of free agency, that caveat gets lit on fire in about 30 seconds. And that's exactly what happened with Christian Kirk. So if you look at this right now, 4 years for 72, that's the 9th highest AAV among wide receivers.
God.
I know Tyreek Hill's going to get a new deal, but the deal he got, the guarantees that he got, it's essentially the contract that Tyreek Hill got a couple years ago.
Oh my God. A bona fide top 4 receiver, no matter how you shake it, as opposed to a high-end number 3 who's really might be a slot-only guy. Oh, man, those agents, like, they knew the Jaguars were desperate for receivers, but it's like they still need guys. It's because Kirk is going to be a slot-only guy for them. It's just – it's a huge thing. It's insane. It's insane.
For Cooper to get traded when he did,
yes,
and for Williams to sign that deal before the market opened, the agents for Kirk, for Allen Robinson, I'm sure for DJ Chark, those guys are just sitting there counting their money.
Oh, my God.
It's a huge thing, and that's exactly what happened. For now, I mean, the Amari Cooper trade now looks so much better for the Browns.
It
to
does.
get him at 20, and not just to get him at 20, there's nothing guaranteed on his deal. They can move on from him after next year. It can be a 1-year, $20 million deal for a 5th-round pick, and that seems like a lot when you're just looking at the per-year average. But the flexibility of that for only a 5th-round pick, when Christian Kirk is about to get half of that $72 million guaranteed over the first couple of years, that's a really nice move for the Browns, and you remove all uncertainty by making that move when you did. I don't think they're going to convert any of that base salary. I thought that there was a chance that they might, to kind of move some of the guarantees a little bit later, bump up his cap hits in 23 and 24. It doesn't sound like they're going to do that. They're going to keep it as is, but that gives them a lot of flexibility. So that's a huge deal for Christian Kirk. I can understand overpays to surround your young quarterback, right? You have all of this space.
Yep.
And I think that's why you can talk yourself into the Brandon Scherff deal. Do we have numbers on the Brandon Scherff deal yet? Did you see anything specific on that?
Let me see. I had it on my notes. I don't think I did off the top of notes. I just said the years. Good old Control F.
Yeah, I don't think I saw the actual
specifics. I didn't say the monies
averages for that deal yet. I would have to assume it comes in at the Joe Thuney number or somewhere around there. I mean, Ryan Jensen made $13 million as a center in free agency. I mean, Scherff, obviously the injury concerns, which we've talked about ad nauseum, as how he compares to Thuney at the top of the guard market when you look at last year. But I assume it'll be in the $15 million a year range. I can justify that. When you think about scarcity, when you think about how high his heights are and what he is when he's healthy, and again, they're building that offensive line in front of a guy that drafted number 1 overall. I can twist that contract and to a certain extent, the Kirk contract. It's like, all right, we need to give our guy weapons. There's scarcity. The Oluokun deal, I can't even start to justify.
No, that one popped my brain even more than the Kirk one. Getting almost 15 a year. It's like the fourth most a
year.
The 4th most guaranteed for a linebacker ever. He's almost getting CJ Mosley money when he got the bank brought up for him when he signed with the Jets, which was ridiculous. He was a solid player, a goodish solid player on a bad defense. And now it's just like you're paying for the stats where he had 90 assisted tackles. I don't know. That one's ridiculous to me. Scherff one, I'm fine with. They need leadership. They need toughness. Cool with this. You're building the offensive line.
You franchise Cam Robinson. You want to spend that money on the offensive line.
Makes sense.
You have a surplus. I can understand that. And even the Kirk thing, again, it's a huge overpay. But it's like, all right, I can see how you twist the logic to your ends here.
Yeah.
Paying $15 million for an off-ball linebacker. They already have Myles Jack.
I know.
So now they're paying almost $30 million combined to 2 linebackers.
I was looking at the list and I saw Myles Jack is right in slot, like right where they're, and I was like, oh my God, that's right. They gave him a big deal too. Just for off-ball guys. And they need so much help everywhere. That's what I thought they would be shopping that upper middle class bin. Just a whole bunch of dudes, just patch some guys together, not go for splashes like this.
I can totally understand. I'm sure that a response to this from people is going to be, well, they have all the money. They need to spend the money anyway. This just doesn't work. It just never works.
Nope.
You can look back on it. It's the Arrested Development thing. It's like, well, it's never worked for anybody else, but maybe this time it'll work for us. Barnwell and I, when we were going through our lessons the other day, outside of the top of the market concerns that you'd always have to have, linebacker is one of those positions. I mean, the history of overspending on free agent linebackers is just riddled. It's a graveyard. Yep. Nothing good comes there. Nothing good is waiting for you down that road.
Nope.
And they just did it you don't need to do that. You can split that in half and go sign a corner and another receiver if you want to.
Another middle tier lineman. Like,
it's not necessary.
No.
And if you look at this and say, well, they're a rebuilding team, they need players. Go back to what the Bills did when they were rebuilding. They never did this.
Nope.
They never shopped
middle class
like this. It's not necessary. You don't need to spend like this. How you justify it, I just don't know. I just don't know how you can look at those numbers and be like, yeah, this is exactly how we want to build this team at this stage. Even if you're depleting, even if you have talent deficiencies, even if you have a ton of money just pouring out everywhere, I still just don't understand using it this way.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It felt like somebody got the $100 gift card to Best Buy or something. It's like, oh, I'm going to buy all this stuff. And it's like, no, you don't need to. Like, you save it. A couple movies are coming out next year.
They got the $100 gift card, and then they spent like $10,000.
Yeah. They spent $900 out of pocket.
Yeah, it's like every single place. It's like, oh, we'll give you a free whatever if you come in and spend this much. That's kind of what it feels like.
Oh my God,
they got a coupon, so they went nuts.
Amazon got me yesterday with it. $35, you get same day shipping. I spent $33. I was like, well, looks like I'm buying a new mouthwash. Do special mouthwash or something. I did like. I'm not gonna lie. I did like the Fatukasi signing. Mm-hmm. They overpaid for that. But that one makes more sense to me than signing an off-ball linebacker, because at least he's going to play the snaps. He's going to help out your other guys. It's more of it's a double. It's not a sexy signing, but it's a double. That one I understood the overpay. Off-ball linebacker was the one that I was just like, are you guys kidding me? Just draft one in the middle round, and it's so much cheaper. Find a stopgap. They're not a step away. They're 3 steps away from contending. That's it. Just any way you shake it just didn't make sense to me.
The Kirk deal was wild. I
keep looking at the number.
If you're AJ Brown or any of these guys that are going to be hitting the market soon, you've heard Devontae Adams right now, and you're sitting there on a franchise that's paying you $20 million a year right now. It's definitely the most shocking moment of the day. Because I don't think we should be shocked at this point.
$5 million a tier jump. So now imagine 2-3 tier jumps. It's like, he's like, what if that's like the market value, if we're going like tit for tat, that's like $30 million Devontae Adams should be asking. He's getting 18. I should be getting this.
When those markets start to dry up, that's what ends up happening.